Welcome to my review video of the LGXIGE or LZIGE or LGZIGE or, well, I'm not really sure what we're going to call this, but I have a confession to start off with. You might have noticed in my unboxing video I got out my manky little tennis ball puppets and I was making some jokes, and I was thinking that this video would be a sort of humour reel, because at £40 and homaging one of the most iconic watches in the world and coming all the way from China direct with just a quartz movement and choosing it in gold tone, I was expecting there to be quite a lot of sarcasm in this video. I was in this one for the shits and giggles, but the watches actually confounded me somewhat, because this watch here, for the money, I think is actually an excellent proposition. It has big, huge glaring faults, which I'll come on to in a minute, but for 40 quid, I mean, even the gold tone is quite nicely finished and realistic looking. It's not hard, it's not easy to imagine you could do better for the money. Anyway, let's have a look at it. No more jokes about the funny name or the fact it only costs 40 quid and it's homaging something that might have cost you six figures if you've got a real one. Anyway, let's go on with it. First of all, we'll have a closer look at the watch. We'll go inside for that and get some close-up photos and have a look at its features. And then after that, I'll talk about the things that are slightly less good. And as usual, it's up to you guys to make up your own mind. There are other options available, even from the same company. There are different colourways, if you like, and there are also competitors who are producing very similar homage watches of the Patek Nautilus, so there's a lot of choice out there. But for my money, this one was quite a good buy, because I wasn't spending an awful lot of money on it. Anyway, see you in a bit. Description first of the watch. You can see a lovely sunburst effect here on the black teak decking style dial. The Nautilus style case has some lovely contrasting brushing and polished areas on the edges of the bezel and on the crown surround. The crown is signed. Looking at the side here, we can see that the bezel, as with the original Patek, is a separate entity to the case body, and it is held on with these two screws on either side. Now this is a design touch copied from the original, which some of the competitor watches like the Didon design don't bother with. They just have an all cast steel case. So the two-part case is quite a nice touch there. Look here at the H-type bracelet. Those central domed segments are polished in contrast to the brushing on the rest of the wider H-link, which also has polished ends just at the corners, and it contributes to this beautiful wrist roll. Flipping the watch over here, we can see the screw-in stainless steel case back. Now, despite the fact that this is modelled on a watch called the Nautilus and it has a screw-in case back, the watch only boasts 30 metres of water resistance, which is basically code for not really waterproof at all. So I wouldn't do very much swimming with this one on board. It might well be that the unusual shaped face of the watch causes problems with waterproof sealing, or it may be this two-part case and bezel assembly, which means that they don't trust their seals. Looking back at the face of the watch, we can see the crystal. It's some sort of mineral glass. They don't claim sapphire, so it almost certainly isn't sapphire, but the strange thing is it does appear to have some sort of AR coating on it, because I don't find it very reflective compared to some other watches. Here's a shot of the loom. It's a two-tone loom with a standard green loom on the hands and some sort of BGW9 blue tone loom on the indices. However, I have to say the indices are, despite this picture, far dimmer than the hands and fade a lot quicker. But it's actually a reasonable effort of Loom from LGXIGE, so fair play to them. Now we're at the part of the video that some of you always look forward to, the less good things about the watch. The bracelet is beautiful to look at, but it doesn't conform very well to the wrist. For this reason, I think some of you with smaller wrists, 6 inches or maybe even smaller, or ladies, will not be able to wear this watch properly. I also need to add that never since my days of wearing folded steel bracelets have I found one that's quite as nippy on the wrist hairs. I might add is also very nippy on the wrist hairs. Butterfly clasp doesn't have deployant buttons, and it actually holds in quite well, but this hideous piece of folded steel is supposed to lock it in place. It pops out all the time and it really isn't very well engineered. Despite those lovely little sort of bearings that it snaps down on, it really is poorly designed. Taking a look at last time at how gorgeous this watch looks, I have to say that I had another little problem with it. When I was sizing the bracelet, I broke 2 sizing tools on the pins. They're the stiffest pins I've ever encountered on any watch I've had to resize, and I've resized an awful lot of bracelets in my time. So that's the end of the bad news with the beautiful LGXIGE LM013 sports watch. What I'd like to leave you with is that if you wear a homage to a Rolex, it's going to get recognised, possibly recognised as a homage. But these Patek Nautiluses, you don't see these in the wild, at least not where I live. So you can wear this secure in the knowledge that to most people, most non-watch people, they'll just see you wearing a nice shiny watch. Remember, they're retailing this watch for £40. For £40 in the rip-off United Kingdom, the high street jewellers would sell you this watch for probably about somewhere between £170 and £270. It's that well made and it has that much presence. Aside, of course, from the badly designed and frankly terrible flappy clasp. Cheerio until the next one, folks. Goodbye.